Welcome. Today we aren't just looking at school logos, we are performing a syllabus-mapped comparative analysis of how your childhood education impacts your adulthood career. Over 20 years of coaching, I've seen a recurring pattern: students often work against their schooling rather than with it. This presentation evaluates the CBSE, ICSE, and state boards alongside the globalists like IB and IGCSE. We aren't here to say one board is smarter than the other. We are here to measure the distance between a grade 12 textbook and a UPSC prelims question paper. If you are a parent choosing a school or an aspirant wondering why geography feels like a foreign language, this breakdown is for you. Let's look at the data through a dispassionate lens. The philosophy, the most important sentence in this entire deck is this: your board is the starting runway, not the destination. I've mentored over 1,200 successful selections. Among them were NIOS students who were told they weren't mainstream enough, yet they produced some of the most brilliant structured answer writing I've ever seen. Expert commentary. I once had an IB student who could argue the ethics of international law beautifully, but didn't know the difference between a money bill and an ordinary bill. Conversely, I've seen Tamil Nadu Board students walk into a history lecture and realize they already knew 80% of the content. The board gives you a bias. It makes some subjects easier and others harder, but it never determines the final rank. Your work after class 12 is the true variable. The data breakdown. Let's talk numbers. We rated these boards out of 10, based strictly on syllabus overlap and pedagogical alignment with the UPSC. CBSE leads the pack with an 8.6. Why? Because the UPSC literally uses inserts as their primary source. The Tamil Nadu board follows at 7.6, largely due to its incredible history depth. The gap analysis. Notice the drop-off when we hit the international boards, 6.0 for IB and NIOS 5.3. This isn't a reflection of the quality of the student, but a reflection of the relevance of the curriculum. For an IGCSE student, the UPSC readiness is lower because they spend years studying British-centric history or global geography, leaving a massive vacuum where Indian polity and economy should be. This scorecard represents the head start factor. The superpowers. CBSE is the unquestionable gold standard. If you studied CBSE, you have already completed 40% of the UPSC journey before buying a single coaching module. Your polity foundation class 9-11 is the exact scaffolding for Laxmikant, and your class 11-12 geography is the best physical geography base available. The kryptonite. However, CBSE has a kryptonite, a legacy of rote learning. Many CBSE students become bookish aspirants. They can recite a fact, but they struggle to apply it to a complex multidimensional mains question. Their English proficiency often averages lower than ICSE, and their answer writing skills are generally weaker because the exams are less essay intensive. They are great at MCQs, but they often struggle to think on paper.
The writing edge, ICSE/ICC, students are the essayists. Their superpower is an unmatched English writing foundation. While a CBSE student is learning to fill in bubbles, an ICSE student is writing long-form, application-based analytical answers. They also have environmental science as a mandatory subject, which is a massive pillar of the UPSC prelims today. The steep learning curve. The trade-off is the content cap. Indian polity is not covered with the depth the UPSC requires, and the economy section often lacks coverage of specific Indian policies like MSP or monetary policy. They arrive with the best instincts for the mains, but they face a prelims wall because they lack the raw India-centric factual data that CBSE provides. Their mains marks naturally skew higher, but only if they survive the factual rigors of the prelims.
The secret weapon. In the UPSC world, the Tamil Nadu State Board is legendary. Their history coverage is widely considered superior to NCERT's for this specific exam. They do a deep dive into ancient India, the Sangam age, the Kolas, which is critical for the art and culture section. Their world history, imperialism, decolonization is also much more robust. The structural weakness. The kryptonite here is polity and geography. The constitution and parliament are often covered superficially. Also, the transition from a regional medium of instruction to the high-level English required for the mains can be a hurdle for some. But the verdict remains: every serious aspirant, regardless of their original board, must read the TN board class 11 and 12 history books. The globalist IB and IGCSE students are the globalists. They possess unrivaled critical thinking and research skills. The IB theory of knowledge and extended essay components align perfectly with the GS4 ethics paper and the essay paper. They can argue beautifully and structure logic like no other board. The context deficit. However, they suffer from a massive India context deficit. They may have near zero coverage of Indian polity or history. Their British-centric or international perspective often conflicts with the India-first lens required by the UPSC. They are the most intellectually prepared but the most content deficient. They have the engine of a Ferrari but no fuel, Indian facts to run it. The ground reality. State boards and NIOS represent the masses and the independents. State board students often have an unteachable advantage, a ground level awareness of rural governance, agriculture, and social inequality. This lived experience is gold during the interview stage and for GS2, GS3 papers. The discipline factor. NIOS students develop an incredible level of self-discipline because of the flexible nature of their schooling. They are often better at scenario-based social issues. The downside for both is the rote learning culture and a lack of structured classroom exposure to rigorous answer writing habits. For these students, reading inserts cover to cover is not just a suggestion, it is a non-negotiable survival tactic. Subject by subject, this matrix is your roadmap. If you look at ancient history and art, Tamil Nadu is in the excellent green zone. If you look at polity and constitution, CBSE is the clear winner. For general science, ICSE and IGCSE take the lead because of their strong conceptual and practical foundations. Strategic application, the red zones are what you need to worry about. If you are an IB student, look at the absent marks for polity. You need to start from zero there. If you are a state board student, look at the weak mark for geography. Use this table to identify where you need to overcompensate during your first 6 months of preparation. The time tax, there is a myth that board doesn't matter. It does matter in time. A CBSE student typically needs 3 to 4 months to finish their NCERT foundation. An IB or state board student needs 6 to 8 months for the exact same phase. That 4-month gap is a significant structural advantage in a competitive exam. The prelims wall, we also see the International Board Prelims Wall. These students often have excellent essay writing and could easily clear the mains, but they fail the prelims on their first attempt because of massive gaps in India-specific factual knowledge. They are playing catch-up to a baseline that the UPSC has implicitly set around the CBSE curriculum. The Convergence. This graph shows the diligent NCERT reading phase. At month 0, the gap between a CBSE student and a state/IB student is huge. But look at month 6. If the student is diligent, the lines converge. The playing field becomes level. The takeaway, the board determines your starting distance from the finish line, but it doesn't determine if you cross it. A state board student who reads NCERTs for 6 months has entirely neutralized the advantage of a CBSE student. This is the equalizer. Hard work and the right resources can bridge any educational gap. The winners. To wrap up, let's hand out the awards. Best for Prelims Start, CBSE. Their MCQ familiarity is unmatched. Best for Mains Writing, ICSE. Their analytical English is a superpower. Best for History and Interview, Tamil Nadu Board. Their narrative style depth is ideal for optional subjects and personality tests. Best for CSAT and GS for Ethics, IB and IGCSE. Their theory of knowledge training gives them a critical edge in reasoning and ethics. The final word, if I were a grand architect choosing a board to prepare a child for the UPSC from day one, I would choose CBSE for the first 10 years to build the polity and geography base. Then I would supplement with Tamil Nadu history books from class 9 onwards. The honest truth, but here is the final honest truth. No board produces UPSC officers, preparation does. The optimal starting line is a combination of a CBSE Foundation Tennessee history books and 6 months of dedicated NCERT reading. Whether you started in a village school or an international academy, the path to LBSNAA is the same. Thank you so much for investing your time in this deep dive into India's education boards and their impact on the UPSC journey. Whether you are a student planning your future or a parent making a critical schooling decision, I hope this analysis helps you navigate the road ahead with more clarity. If you found these insights valuable and want to see more syllabus-mapped breakdowns, please like this video and share it with fellow aspirants. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest strategic assessments. Your support helps us continue creating content that turns preparation into selection.